Alright, welcome to another painting tutorial. Here we're going to look at the Skaven Plague Monk. This guy here is from the Screaming Bell kit. These are the painting guides that will be available on my blog. Check out the description link and you'll find those. So I started out with the base there and just working on the base colors using sort of the camo greens from GW. So the Castellan Green or whatever was the base coat there, and I'm just doing some Dryad bark on the staff. Some Ratskin Flesh on any of the flesh bits. I didn't bother doing any fur on this guy because there's such a small amount, it just didn't really seem like it was necessary. And so yeah, I'm going to show you all the different steps along the way. Try to keep the camera in focus, sorry about that. And you can check out my blog for all the paints sort of listed in one spot with some images. And all the still images of the finished guy are there too. So like I said, this guy's from the Screaming Bell kit. And you get the Plague Monk and the Grey Seer. So if you do it as a Screaming Bell, you'll have this guy left over. And if you do one of each, then you'll have one of each as well. So this guy here, I don't know how much you'd end up using him in your army, but it's a really cool model and it needed to be painted up. So I put it on a piece of cork, really thin piece of cork there, you can see as the base, and I'm just going to paint it as a rock. Okay, so I'm just working all the bases here. So Caliban Green for the Warpstone, and I do all the smoke sort of first, and then I'll paint over it with some grays and whites at the end. Okay, so once all the base coats are on, I just did a whole wash of Ratskin Flesh shade, and the idea here is that this is a bit of a a muddy brown color, kind of putrid plague sort of a look. Didn't worry about doing greens on that. So that just helps speed things up by doing everything as one color. Just highlighting up the flesh now with Bestigor Flesh, after of course that wash is dried. So I usually try to do the wash the last thing before I leave something for the night, and the next day when I come back everything's ready to go again. So that's kind of my tipping point between bases and then wash, and then doing all the highlights is pretty quick after that. Skrag Brwon for the leather bits. So I mean, depending what kind of rope color you like, this is what I chose for mine, just because it contrasts some of the other ones, and it's still kind of a reddish brown, reddish tone to that. Okay, so those spikes on his head and sort of growths and stuff, I did those as though they're bones. Not really sure what they're meant to be, some sort of growths out of this guy, and so I'm just doing them Ushabti Bone here. Okay, so now I'm going to be building up my layer of green. So this is actually fairly bright green, but when you blend it in, it doesn't come out quite as bright, so that's nice. So what I'm trying to do is paint it on all of the raised areas and blend it a little bit into the base coat, and make sure I leave all the recesses blank. Once that's done, putting some Gorthor Green on the staff there, so highlighting up the wood. Just trying to keep that a little uneven looking, leaving some blank spots to make it look like the grain of the staff, that sort of thing. Okay, Ungor Flesh next to highlight for the flesh bits, so just focusing on the raised bits like all the warts, knuckles, edges of the nose, that sort of a thing. Okay, Warpstone Glow going on all of the Warpstone stuff, and that some of that smoke coming out of the sensor there. And yeah, just trying to focus on most of the raised areas. The Warpstone, there's no guaranteed way to do it, but basically trying to keep the inner parts the darkest colors, and then working into the sharp edges towards the brightest, and the smoke doing same sort of thing there. And then what I'll do is I'll do a white highlight on it, and then give it the green wash. Okay, Bandblade Brown doing the final highlight on the staff there. Some Deathclaw Brown for any of the leather bits and rope, just giving them sort of a quick overbrush highlight there, just trying to pick up all the raised edges here, there, and everywhere. Okay, so we're getting pretty close here, just some final highlights to make things pop a little bit more. Brass Scorpion on all the bells and stuff. I do a little bit of a typhus corrosion on that at the very end. That's the turquoisey green sort of patina finish. Didn't work out great on those bells because they're all curved surfaces with not too many little recesses, but still still worth doing, I think. Okay, so now I'm working on the smoke with Stormvermin Fur here, and just going to try to blend that into those greens towards the base and be almost pure gray at the top. And the best reference for this will be my finished photos. So lighter gray now going on those raised areas, leaving some of the storm vermin showing through in the shadows. Although smoke is kind of a weird, it's not going to have shadows really, but just kind of making it look like it's the deeper parts, more opaque part of the smoke. Okay, and then some white scar highlights on the top edges of things, as well as some of the streaks on the stuff coming out of the sensor. And I'm going to do some spots on the warpstone as well. And then I'm just using some Waywatcher Green glaze here to kind of overcoat this stuff and just unify the green a bit more. Okay, now Ogryn Camo on all the edges of the cloak here, and that'll help bring out any of the folds and nicks and stuff like that in it, and that really helps this look a lot more dynamic and characterful, whatever. So just trying to keep nice thin lines into the kind of the edges of everything, picking out as many of them as I can, and that really helps make that pop. Little Evil Sun Scarlet on the eyes there, and I do highlight it with the next one up. Then I water down the paint and use it as a glaze on all the warts. So like I said, all these painting guides will be on my blog as still images. You can check those out and reference them. And these images here as well. So these are all the still images, kind of go all the way around the guy from different angles. Anyways, I hope you like this tutorial. If you have any suggestions for future ones or things you'd like to see, let me know, leave a comment, and make sure you like and share this video as well so that lots of other people watch it. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.